Chapter 3. Ellie plucked up her courage and stepped through the secret doorway. Then she grabbed Kate's hand and pulled her friend after her. John followed swiftly and pulled the door closed behind him. They huddled together in the darkness, hardly daring to breathe while they listened to Miss Stringle's footsteps grow closer and closer. Ellie was sure her governess would stop when she reached the door, but she didn't. She marched straight on without even hesitating.
"She never guessed we were here,"
squealed Ellie after the footsteps had disappeared into the distance.
"Where is here, anyway?"
asked Kate.
"I'll show you,"
said John, and he clicked on a torch.
"Where did you get that from?"
asked Kate.
"I leave it here just in case,"
explained John.
"A good explorer can never be sure when he'll need to use a secret passage."
He was almost as keen on exploring as he was on ponies. Ellie looked round. They were in a narrow tunnel built with brick.
"Where does it go?"
she asked.
"Outside,"
said John.
"If we go to the stables this way, there's no chance of us bumping into Miss Stringle again."
He led the way along the passage and down a twisting spiral staircase with uneven stone steps. It was very steep and very narrow. Ellie was glad when she reached the bottom and John swung open a heavy door. As soon as she stepped outside, she wished she'd brought her coat with her. It was colder than ever. She was fascinated to see her breath hang like a cloud on the still air. She stood shivering with Kate while John closed the door. On this side, it was disguised to look like stone. It blended perfectly with the wall. No one would find it unless they already knew it was there. As soon as he'd finished, John led them quickly round the side of the palace to the stables. Ellie was surprised to find they were quite different from hers at home. Those were arranged around an open courtyard, so each of her ponies had a door to the outside. John's were tucked inside a cozy barn. A wide passage ran down the middle. On one side was a tack room, a feed store, and a huge pile of hay and straw. On the other was a line of 4 stables, but only 2 of them were occupied.
"This one's Toffee and this one's Fudge,"
said John, pointing to each of his chestnut ponies in turn. Ellie stroked Toffee's face and neck.
"They're both beautiful,"
she said, as the heat from the pony's body warmed her cold fingers.
"They're like twins,"
laughed Kate.
"How do you tell which is which?"
"That's easy,"
explained John.
"Toffee has a tiny white mark on her nose."
It was so small that Ellie had to look carefully before she spotted it.
"I wish I could try riding her." "There isn't time,"
said Kate.
"And it's nearly dark,"
added John. Ellie tried not to feel too disappointed.
"Never mind," she said. "We can still play with them for a bit."
She divided Toffee's mane into sections and started to twist the hairs into neat plaits. Before she'd finished the first one, the barn door swung open. Miss Stringle marched in, and this time there was nowhere to hide.
"I've been looking for you everywhere," grumbled the governess. "It's very late. You should be getting ready for the banquet."
She seized the girls by their hands and led them unwillingly towards the door.
"We'll all go for a ride tomorrow,"
called John.
"We can't," said Kate. "There's 3 of us and only 2 ponies."
"Bother," said Ellie. "They couldn't leave one person behind. That would be so unfair. And it wouldn't be fun if they couldn't all go together." But she hadn't been on a pony since she left home, and she couldn't bear the thought of not riding for the whole week she was here. There must be something they could do.